violence when things like tribal punishment doesn't take place, not only in our tribe, in Walpi tribe, but in other tribes in all of Australia too. When tribal punishment doesn't take place before the white fella law comes in and locks our people away, the violence get worse.
My life been really it's like a nightmare to me, because my young sister done a manslaughter, and she's locked up in jail. Even though she got punished through white men, but in Aboriginal law she didn't, so she have to go back and face the Seasblock's family. A lot of people got hurt because my sister went in jail. She didn't do a payback. If she could have that payback, everybody wouldn't get hurt. If they can't get to the main person, they go for the family, the closest family. I'm big sister for my young sister. We from one mother, one father. Even if they can't get to her, they have to get to me. It took probably 1 month for them to catch up to me, so I had no choice. So I went to the Oval and they hurted me, probably 13, 12 women. They all had null and they hit me. They broke this one here. So I had some stitches in my head, swollen arm. They will keep on chasing people till they get to the right person. They'll never forget nothing.
Imagine if someone offered you a job with food and board, but the pay, if you got it, was a pittance. The accommodation was a tin shed with no sanitation, and the food was not much more than flour, sugar and tea. Sounds a bit like slavery, doesn't it? Unfortunately for many Indigenous Australians in the cattle industry, that's exactly how it once was. But all that changed when one man inspired them to reclaim the land they loved.
That national treasure lies in the heart of the top end, 460 kilometres southeast of Katherine in the Northern Territory.
This is Waddy Creek, which belongs to the local Gurindji people. It's a place that became part of Australia's modern folklore when a Prime Minister came to visit.
And this is the man whose passion and determination inspired that visit.
Vincent Lingiari is his name. For most of his life, he worked here on what's now known as Old Wave Hill Station. In 1966, with good reason, this gentle stockman turned activist.
He led about 200 Aboriginal workers and their families in a strike when they walked off the station in protest over pay and conditions.
For 80 years, the pastoralists' main interest had been acquiring land, Aboriginal land. For them, it made no economic sense to respect black labour. There was no shortage of people wanting to work.
The Gurindji watched helplessly as the pastoralists fenced their land, killed their food supplies and destroyed their watering holes. And, even worse, they had little choice but to work for the pastoralists under appalling conditions. When the Gurindji walked off, black stockmen had become the backbone of the cattle industry. Widespread loss of this cheap labour source threatened the pastoralists.
The Gurindji were worried about violent repercussions, so they travelled overland, following this fence line rather than take the road.
What started as a strike became a 9-year battle to reclaim their traditional lands. The Wave Hill walk-off route is on the National Heritage List.
The Gurindji arrived here in Waddy Creek in 1967 and they named it Daguragu, in their language, a place for us.
Jimmy Wavehill was an Aboriginal stockman at the time of the walk-off.
What our Binjan Linjari told us is you're not going to keep it this place for if anything happen on me, well, I'm just passing story with Jimmy Wavehill and he can keep it forever and tell stories and so some kid can understand and keep it for their future too.
This was always Gurindji land, the place of their dreaming, and now they could visit and maintain their sacred sites and places of ritual. But they needed a modern-day symbol of their ownership. The pastoralists respected signs, so the Gurindji had one made to announce their presence.
What they wanted was title to their land and economic independence. In the years the Gurindji lived at Daguragu, they were threatened with economic sanctions and had numerous land claims rejected. But the breakthrough came in 1972. The ALP was back in power after 23 years in opposition, and Aboriginal land rights was a hot issue.
We will legislate to give Aborigines land rights.
Although full land rights legislation came later, the culmination of the Gurindji's battle has been immortalised in that image of Gough Whitlam and Vincent Lingiari, taken in 1975.
Vincent Lingiari, I solemnly hand to you these deeds as proof in Australian law that these lands belong to the Gurindji people.
Vincent Lingiari put it more simply.
We're all friendly now. We're all mates. We're all mates.
Vincent Lingiari was awarded the Medal of Australia for service to his people. Today he's buried on the land he fought so hard for.
The Gurindji strike was the first to attract widespread attention to Aboriginal land rights. That makes Wattie Creek, at the end of the Wave Hill walk-off route, a national treasure.